about food. How do we define food? At the side it says, we will never improve on nature. We are tropical animals. We exist. No one paints pictures of breakfast cereals. And would anyone eat broccoli? And then on the right we have a fraction of a percent are actually food. In nature there are no empty calories. NaCl is poison. I forget what that is. Anything that's toxic to the body is not really food. Must contain valuable nutrition. Now, Herbert Shelton did a video about nutrition and how nutrition starts in the body, you know. We have our own life force. Empty calories, junk food, etc. is not food. So just adding on to why I mentioned about nutrition in our body, because we want foods that is compatible with us, with our cells, you know. So when you cook food you damage the enzymes. And you know, if you research or if you do science, you'll know that our cells are made up of DNA, which holds all the information, and proteins, and I can't remember the other thing. I have it in this book. I got this through the post. The Origins of Life. Oh, DNA, RNA, and proteins seem designed to work together. When you consume food, you want it to be so simple so that we only have to build. We don't have to like knock the wall down first, because we can't assimilate. We can't use protein. We can only use amino acids, which exist in raw foods. So empty calories, junk food, etc. not food. A food must contain both calories and nutrition to be considered food. In nature, when an animal gets a message to eat, it's looking for both calories and nutrients, because in nature there are no empty calories. It's true. Everything contains calories and nutrients. Empty calories means oils, refined sugar. Next, number 2. Must be completely non-toxic to that species. So, real foods never contain anything that is toxic to the body. What our bodies need are whole real foods, not something people have labelled as superfoods or nutritious. If you ask, is there anything in raw cacao that's good for me? You might say, yeah, it's got lots of nutrients. And if you leave it at that, you might think that you should eat it, or could eat it. And then if you ask, is there anything in this that's toxic to me? And the answer is yes. Would you consider it a food? When you can get all of those nutrients in whole real foods, it also must have been grown without poison, i.e. organic, or as our grandparents called it, food. It's obvious to people that every drug is toxic to people, but less obvious that both medicinal and culinary herbs may contain toxins. Just like drugs, medicinal herbs work not because they have any power to heal the body. What the herbs do is create a symptomatic effect where we feel better because we've suppressed the symptom. I've experienced this myself. It's the toxicity of the plant that's creating that reaction in the body. Culinary herbs produce toxic alkaloids that give them their characteristic smell and taste for the specific purpose of not being eaten. And we come along and say, let's eat that. Number 3. Must be edible by itself. In nature, animals eat one thing at a time at virtually every meal, and then for the next meal sit down and eat something different. Eating one thing at a time is the rule in nature, and when we do that, we are ensuring optimal digestion and optimal absorption and assimilation. You wouldn't sit down and eat a bowl of salt or a bowl of refined sugar. All of the things we would never make a meal of by themselves are not food. Therefore, we might not want to consume them. For example, garlic, onions, oil, pepper, vinegar, spices. No other species take substances that don't taste in their natural state and adds condiments to make them palatable. NaCl (salt) is a poison that dehydrates you. It pulls the water out of your cells and into solution. Spices do the same thing. They irritate the body, and the body says, I need a bunch of water to flush this garbage out. They also kill your taste buds. Vinegar, like alcohol, is a cellular poison. Like medicinal herbs, there can be a symptomatic relief with some of these substances. Garlic and onions are natural antibiotics that kill living organisms in your body that you depend on to live and be healthy. People think it's a health food because many of these substances create symptomatic relief. If you wouldn't sit down and eat it by itself, it's not food. Number 4. Must make its nutrients easily available to us in its natural state. If something is a food for us, we don't need a lot of processing to make those nutrients available. Most people drink wheatgrass juice because they love the taste, right? No. They drink it because it contains a lot of valuable nutrients. But do people eat the grass? Because we can't digest it. Grass is almost all cellulose and indigestible fibre. If grass isn't digestible by humans, it's not food for us. If it isn't food for us, why are we trying to figure out how to consume it? It just makes sense, like the documentary I watched recently, Guns, Germs and Steel. They seem to try and grow loads of grains and potatoes, and I was wondering, they probably could have planted trees and had at least some crops in the future, because trees being 3D produce a lot of food while giving animals habitat to live in. Number 5. Must be both edible and eaten in its natural state. What is its natural state? Along with not being processed in any way, that includes one way of processing that we don't even think of as processing: cooking. In order to be a food for a species, a substance must be both edible and eaten in its raw state. Whole natural foods always come packaged with cofactors that we need to use them properly. One of the problems with conventional nutrition, it looks at a nutrient by itself as if it occurs within a vacuum. Whole natural foods function as systems. When we process foods in any way, we change the complexion of that food. We create imbalances in the body by giving it unnatural substances. Processed food doesn't occur in nature, it occurs in your kitchen. What's the effect of this in nature? The effect with animals is they get sick and die much more quickly, a similar effect on humans. Number 6. Must appeal to that species' senses. When you walk through a field of grains, do you start salivating? No. We can't digest grains easily. When you see a little bunny rabbit in nature, do you immediately pounce on it like a cat? No, I doubt it. We don't have a natural instinct to kill other species. We see a little animal and we think, oh, how cute. We don't instinctively want to eat them. We want to pet them or care for them. What we naturally most attracted to eat are things that taste sweet. That's because we run on natural sugars. In the tropics, where we come from, most mammals, more than 70%, eat primarily fruit, as do reptiles, most birds and a lot of other animals. And leave the animals off the plate. Eat what appeals to you, and peace out.